Hi y'all, welcome back to the Idiot Car Guys. I'm Jeff. So on the last video on this 190E, we did a little basic troubleshooting where opened the antifreeze reservoir. Jeez, I'm losing my words today. Opened the antifreeze reservoir, and it was under pressure and so on and so forth. But come to find out, we weren't getting any water flow through here when we added some water. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to actually take the thermostat out and put the cover back on. Now this is the thermostat housing, and the thermostat resides below that. So I'm going to take the thermostat out, and then we'll put the cover back on it. I'm going to fill it with water. I'm going to run the engine, and it's not going to have the thermostat, so it's going to take a lot longer to the engine to get up to operating temperature. But our test today is to actually see if the water pump is actually functioning. Now, in the last video, I made a comment that it was grinding a little bit, and when I added a little bit of antifreeze in the reservoir, it drew down, but it was never coming through when it got up to operating temperature, and so water never was coming out. Now keep in mind, from the reservoir it drops into the radiator. The radiator then brings it up into the engine first, and then the thermostat, once the thermostat opens, then water flows back into the radiator, cools it off, and so on and so forth. So there's no radiator cap to see if I've got water flow, so this is the next best test. Okay, so let's get started. One of the first things I want to do is I want to take this hose off. So I've got a toolbox here that I carry with that I carry in my motorhome. So I've got a few tools that I just actually that I'll use. So I'm going to take this hose off here because it might be in the way in order to get the housing off, because I can get the housing off and pull it off here. So give me a second here. We'll just take this hose off, take that hose clamp off. Oh yeah, I want to release some pressure first. Okay, make sure there's no pressure. Take the cap completely off. And there's a little bit of water in there, and it's dirty. So pull this off. Okay. Those are probably 10 millimeter. So let's go ahead and get those out here. Little trusty tool set that I bought at Walmart. Good to have. I mean, it's not an expensive deal by any means, but it'll get the job done. So we'll sit here and take this off. Yep, 10 millimeter is going to be pretty much your common bolts and nuts on European cars. As you notice also too, this is quite dirty up here, so I'll be doing some investigation on that. And keep in mind, really folks, that I have really not torn into this car, or even I just took the word of a mechanic and just went by the assumptions. And who knows? We'll figure out here in a little bit if we actually have some cooling going on, or if there's a head gasket leak. Well, there's actually green antifreeze, so we're going to be dumping that all over the place. And there's the thermostat in all her glory. Now I'm going to guess that I probably have one, maybe, but we're gonna put this back together, and actually see if, actually probably ought to take this O-ring and set it down inside here so that this sets down in there. It offers some sort of a seal. Put this back on here. Go ahead and start this one. So see that, if that tells me there was green antifreeze in there, then certainly the thermostat wasn't opening. So my guess is, let's start with the thermostat. Let's see if we can get water flowing, to see if we have water flowing. If we have water flowing, then we'll replace the thermostat, and that could actually be, you know, a relatively inexpensive fix. Now, this might leak a little bit because that's not the right size O-ring to fit, you know, without the thermostat, but it'll at least give us, it won't create a whole lot of pressure, so it'll at least give us an opportunity to, you know, at least test it. Okay, put that back on there. Squeeze this down. Now this hose is just merely a backflow back into the coolant reservoir. So move my tools out of the way. I'm going to clean this up just a little bit, and I'm going to have a little squeaky of a belt here because I got some antifreeze on it. And so another thing that probably would be in good order for this car would actually be to drain the entire cooling system and you know, give it a completely flush it and put new coolant in it. Okay, dried up enough there. I'm going to go ahead and start it now. There's also a way to test these, and I've always done this, and boy, this has got, actually it does have some oil sludge on it, so we may actually have a bad head gasket because we actually have some oil in the water on this thermostat. So let's just see if we have a water pump that's functioning. Okay, just to see how much further we really want to go in depth on repairing this car. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start it. Although we got a few little raindrops coming down, just going to go with it. Give me a moment here. All right, let's see if we still have no water flow. There's no water flowing whatsoever. It didn't draw down what was left in the cooling reservoir. So, folks, there you have it. Not only did we have a thermostat that wasn't open, there's that squeak I said that was going to take place. That might be the water pump actually engaging. Yep. Boy, that's an annoying squeal. All right, I'm going to go ahead and shut it off for a moment. Oh, that may have been the air conditioner compressor. Actually, the oil pressure is up a little bit more on it this morning. Of course, it is cold. It's not as warm out, but I don't feel any water moving. And we should be getting water coming from the engine, circulating the water pump, circulating through and coming back out and going back into the radiator, and it's certainly not. Another way I could test that is actually pull this top hose clamp here and see if water's actually coming out. But I don't feel anything here. I'm going to go ahead and pressure it up. Let it try and pressure itself up, although it probably won't, because there isn't a thermostat in there for it to build up a whole lot of pressure. But I'm hearing that water pump grinding. So folks, simple test. Pull the thermostat, don't get any water flow. Do see residue of oil on the thermostat itself, and that's a pretty good indicator. Either there was it got hot and escaped through the head gasket, and now we have a water pump issue. So tell us what you think, folks. Now we got to take apart the top half of the motor. Need a water pump in addition to the head gasket kit. Thermostat, that's a $20 item. Probably needs air filters. I know it's going to need an oil change once we're done. Complete coolant flush. I would say recommend doing the coolant flush, draining the radiator and going back through, obviously, because there's oil deposits, and that's going to have to be flushed twice to get any oil deposits out of it. So tell us what you think, folks. I mean, we're looking at probably, if we do it ourselves or if Tom does it, we're looking at probably, a $500 to $600 bill. In addition to the body work needing to be done. But right now, I would say without this thing getting completely up to operating temperature, could it be driven? No, because you have no coolant moving. You have no coolant, no water, no anything moving through that engine block in order to keep the engine block cool to drive. So consequently, if anybody wants to buy this, the answer now is no. Can it be driven 15 miles? No. The answer is no, because you have no coolant moving through the system. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. We are gaining a little bit in operating temperature, which is surprising me because, well, no, it doesn't surprise me. Come to think about it, folks, because I'm not running any water through the engine in order to cool it. So yeah, it's going to overheat. So I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. Tell us what you think. Put your ideas in the comments section below. Again, this car could be for sale, but don't give me a lowball offer. Hey, listen, thanks for watching.